Meet Jane, a talented middle-aged woman who speaks 5 languages, loves everything about nature, is an animal lover, and works full-time as a medical interpreter at Stanford Hospital and clinics. For her whole life, Jane has been an avid biker and skier who's exercised daily. But in 2010, she was in a workplace accident and had to undergo her first surgery. As she was recovering from this surgery, she had another workplace accident followed by another surgery. And this process repeated 3 more times until her mobility was confined to crutches and an electric scooter.
I have never been so injured, so depressed, so defeated, so worried about my career, actually.
In our first meetings with Jane, we talked about many of the frustrations that she faced on a daily basis. Much of her workplace is inaccessible and unaccommodating for handicapped people, including doors that are difficult to open, elevators that are too small for wheelchairs to turn into, and a lack of storage space for expensive equipment. We visited Jane's workplace to see these issues come to life. For the first week of design experiments, we started prototyping an assistive device that would help Jane gain easier access to her secure office door, which was troublesome because she had to swipe a keycard at a reader a few feet away from the door and then, while on crutches, drag her electric scooter through the door before it locked. The idea for the device was an attachment at the end of Jane's crutch, where she could put her keycard to be able to scan her card while standing directly in front of the door. Jane was excited about the idea, but unfortunately we had to put it on hold because the next week Jane underwent another knee surgery.
The next time we saw Jane, we realized that she wouldn't be able to go back to work for the remainder of our project, so we switched gears on our experiments and started focusing more on Jane's mental health. We analyzed Jane's comments about her depression and her poor self-image, and her desire to feel powerful and independent. From this, we realized that while she may have wanted to tackle smaller yet more tangible goals in her workplace, we could create an even more substantial change in her life by focusing on improving her mood and reframing the way she thinks about herself, and finding different ways for her to do what she loves, namely exercise and experiencing nature. The first experiment that we did with her after her surgery was a music experiment. We created a Spotify playlist account for Jane, and we made her a playlist of her favorite music, which was classic rock, and a meditation playlist for her to listen to and improve her mood while she was recovering from surgery. The playlists were a hit. Jane immediately got attached to the technology, and she began listening to music almost every day. She even set up a wireless speaker system in her house.
Next, we worked with Jane on a home improvement project where we helped her reorganize her bedroom. For many years, Jane's bedroom had been a dark space, cluttered with relics of past injuries and reminders of her physical inabilities. But after removing blackout curtains, putting all of her injury equipment in storage, and adding some plants and other calming decor, her bedroom became a healing sanctuary where she felt happy and at peace. The goal of our 4th experiment was to find a way for Jane to incorporate some of the things that she loves doing, specifically exercise. We gave Jane a set of in-bed upper arm exercise videos that she could follow along with for an upper body cardio workout before she was cleared to start physical therapy on her legs. Jane has a history of pushing herself too much too soon with regard to exercise after surgery, so we hoped that this idea would help her exercise in healthy ways. While she appreciated the idea and did do the exercise multiple times, she found them discouraging because her muscles were much weaker than before. Overall, this experiment made her feel worse, so we scrapped it and moved on.
We focused on other areas of Jane's life that brought her happiness, beginning with nature. Even though Jane is not in a place to go hiking yet, Leigh got to go for a nature adventure with her one Sunday, driving for hours along the California coast. This sparked conversation about Jane's need to improve her relationship with her mother, the power that financial stress holds over her, and her desire to engage a greater social circle in her recovery process. Jane promised to incorporate some of her live like I'm dying ideas into her current life, starting by creating an herb garden at her home that she can take care of and use to bond with her mother. We learned so much from all of these experiments with Jane. There were points where communication was hard, where we had to scrap ideas and move on to totally new plans, and where we encountered challenges with tracking. However, by the end of the project, we were on a roll with Jane. We discovered an effective mood tracking system. Jane was becoming much happier and more self-confident, and we saw our experiments really working.
As we began to wrap up the quarter and think about the ways in which we could pass on our role in Jane's life, Rishi worked with Jane to develop a plan for prolonging her disability leave from work in order to come back to her job stronger and more independent than ever. And then another plan to reach out to her social network and to establish a schedule of walks and meals with people who make her happy.
This project really opened up the world for me in so many different ways. For one thing, I felt that I could actually enjoy myself with other people. I have really remembered how much fun it is just to be able to open some curtains and look on a garden. Literally, I have been living with the curtains drawn in my room for about 3 years. Part of that was due to the fact that I used to work nights, and so I had to block out the sunlight. But I realized that I've blocked out much more than sunlight. I've blocked out pleasure, I've blocked out company, I've blocked out small adventures, and I've pretty much not realized how much it was affecting me. So at least in this project of reclaiming my room and incorporating music, other people, coaching, and a small, modest piece of exercise equipment, I see that I have a long way to go, but I really do have a lot more mobility than I thought.